Okay. Welcome back. How you guys doing? We're here for the afternoon session in the markets today. It's September the 7th. It's Tuesday, the day after Labor Day. Welcome back. How you guys doing? Welcome to the afternoon session here. 1 hour to go in the markets as we're trying to make heads or tails of what's going on today. What a crazy day today. It's just been wacky. The Dow has been consistent all day, negative. It's been down all day and just not getting much better at the moment. It's still down 213 points on the day. The Dow has been worse, not a lot worse, but it's been lower. It's been as low as 35,060. It's right now 35,160. So it's 100 points higher than the low of the day, which was about 11 this morning Eastern time. For a while, the Dow did get kind of back to about 35,202. So it was 40 points better than what it is now. But so what? I mean, it's come back 100. Still down. We're down 211 right now, and we had a free fall from the opening minutes for the first 30 minutes, and within an hour and a half, we were at the low of the day, and we have been trying to bounce off of that ever since. So that's where we're at, 35,060 for the low of the day. We're at 35,156. So just about 100 points better than the worst point of the day. Okay, whatever. Now, S&P down 8.7. It's only 0.19 of a percentage point, 1/5 of a percentage point negative for S&P. The Dow is 0.60, 0.6 of a point. And NASDAQ is up 1/5 of a percentage point at a 31 point gain, 32 point gain. So NASDAQ is the winner. Dow is the loser. S&P kind of going, what do you get? Make up your minds. So what do you want to do? Oil down 88 cents at 68.41. Not a lot going on there. Big news today. The only news, there's just no news. Apple is announcing an event for September. We expect it to be an iPhone launch event, pre-Christmas coming up down the road. I think the date, let me see what the date is. Have they told us the actual date? September 14th. That's in a week. That's next week. So next week they're doing an event. And there you go. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. Other than that, the stocks are following. Oh, holy moly, what's going on here? Rocket Lab, it's at the moment up $2.10. And if I told you, if you weren't watching my show this morning and just came around for the first time today, say, hey, what's going on, Bruce? And I told you that Rocket Lab was up 210, you'd go, hey, this is great. This is fantastic, man. What a great day we're having. And I'd say, yeah, it's good. 13.7 million, almost 13.8 million shares. Fab. What you don't know is the shares this morning were in a seesaw pattern. They opened up today. They got as high 1646 just around noon hour. 1646. Then it dropped. The stock dropped off down to 1450. So it gave up like a buck, and but now it's battling back. It's now at 1559, up 207. The high today 1646. It's at 15. Let's call it 1560. So what are we at? 80 cents below the high of the day. Still up 207 on the day. Will I take this close? Oh, anytime. I'll take a 207 gain on any stock every day of the week. That's $10.35 a week gaining. Yeah, I can get rich doing that. So could you. SoFi closing or trading at $16 right now, up 84 cents on the day. Volume of 18.8 million. Yeah, another good day. 80-cent gain, flirting with 16 all day long, high of 16.13, low of 15.46. That was the opening this morning. It's had a good day all around, and it's solid. It is a solid trading level. This is not like we just got here. No, it's been here for hours. Looking good. Gamestop down 533 at 197.42. The low 196, the high 209. We have a $13 day today in swing, and we're at 197.26, $1.10 off the low, which was just set 30 minutes ago. So in the last 30 minutes, we hit the low of the day. The stock had been sitting around this 199, 197, 198 range for hours. dipped a little, and now here we are at 197.12 on a volume 2.1 million. Tomorrow are the corporate earnings. We get the results, their latest results. I think Rocket Lab also tomorrow. We get results for both of those guys, Rocket Lab and Gamestop. Matterport, what a day. This morning it was $18, $18.15, $18.10, where it left off on Friday. Within an hour of the opening, it was down to about the 16.28 level, came back to about the 16.65 level, and then fell off again with subsequent lows and little rallies. Lows, a low of 16.04, just around 1:15 this afternoon, 16.04. Now 16.40. So for about 2 hours, it's been trying to kind of form a base and come around a bit. It's gained a little, 36 cents from the low of the day. It might be a little oversold right now. I don't know. It's had one heck of a run the last week. 3.5 million volume now at 16.40, officially down $1.56. I know a bunch of you are trying to fish this thing out, trying to hit the bottom all day. You've been trying to find the bottom on it, find the bottom on it, You're in the hood. And if it popped a buck from here, you'll all be happy and go, okay, I'm up. So what? I didn't get the low, but I'm up. 23andMe, man, oh man. The pattern on this stock is when it was down to the 880 range, 870 range, you'd buy it. And then it would go to 910, 915, you'd sell it. And you'd buy it at 870, 880, you'd sell it. Try to make 30, 40 cent swings. That's at least what day traders were trying to do. It didn't work today. It opened at 890, got up to 891. And within an hour and a half, around 11 o'clock Eastern, it had dropped off from that 890 to 820, rallied a little to 830 half an hour later, and then the bottom fell out of it. Just a slow, ugly drip. And it's still doing it. It's down at 815 right now. The low of the day, 814. It's still dripping. Although I will say in 3 hours or 2 hours, it's gone from 820 to 815. I mean, it's a 5 cent drop in the last 2 hours. So it's just meandering along here. This could be the bottom range here, 1.9 million traded. This could be today's bottom right here. There's no volume to, where people are dying to get out. It's just dribbling along. No one's making money on this stock, so it's not like it's being sold by people making all kinds of profits. There are no profits. 23andMe went public at 10. Richard Branson is in at 10. The president of the company, the founders of the company, they're in at 10. All the Wall Street backers, they're all in at $10 a share. No one is making money selling this stuff. So sellers are losers. And losers are grudgingly selling for why I don't know. If they have other money pressures, maybe that's it. But there's someone picking this up. It's being scooped up here bit by bit by bit. Just saying. ME might be the low of the day. Smart Rent down 166 to 1240. Unbelievable. Same pattern as the other shares here. Opened at 1449, roughly 1429, 1449. Straight down in 2 hours. Leveled off around this 1290 range, 1295 range. Dropped again to where it is right now. Low of the day right now, 1240. Low of the day down 166 on 389,000 volume. There's no volume here. Sometimes these stocks have turnaround, sometimes they don't. At the moment, no turnaround on Smart Rent, no news either. Bargain, probably. Now, Spire, oh man. Here's a stock that just defies logic. This one is really tough to figure out. Opened at 1158. Got up to about 1180. Then by 1030, it was as low as 1048 or so. Got to like 1082 around 11:15 in the morning, and then why I don't know, but it took a shot. 1251 went from 1048 to 1251. Almost $2 in like an hour and a bit. And held around there for an hour, 1249, 1264 for the high of the day, and then dropped straight back down as if nothing happened. It came right back to where it was and reached the low here or close to a low here of about 1060, 1116, and now back to 1072. So we're down $1.13. Swings like $1.50, like at nothing. It's a day trader's dream if you believe in it, but you can't predict it. I can't tell you what to make of it, but it's had a weird day today. A mountainside, a valley, two peaks, and now another valley, and just dribbling along. It is the strangest thing. 786,000 shares of volume, Spire. Trying to figure this one out. Now, ATIP down 18 cents. It had a good first hour and a half, solid, strong opening, hung in there. But by about 11:20, it began a drop from about 450.60 to 435. Right now, 437. It's been down here ever since. 851,000 shares. Had a good week last week. Every day last week went up a little bit. The streak is over unless we have a good last hour. I don't know. And then Sexitera, $10.11. Touched a 10.26 today. 10.26. This is significant. This stock hit 10.26 today after opening this morning at 9.42, going down to 9.27. That was this morning, right off the bat. Came right up to the $10 level in about an hour and a half, held the 10, little dip, and then a shot to 10.26. That is the highest trading price of the stock in 6 months. That is the best it's done, even while waiting for the deal to close for all those months that stock was sitting at $10, $10. It's finally done, and it has hit its highest level since they announced the deal way back in February, March. So a breakout, a bust out. Now the question is, what now? So we'll take the improvement for sure. We'll definitely take the improvement. The 52-week low is 750. So is this better than 750? Oh, yes, it is. It is a lot better than 750. Thank you very much. Spire's 52-week low, 827 just a couple weeks ago. Yeah, we're at 1072. We'll take that gain, sure. A Smart Rent, the low since it's been listed, 1150, still at 1247. We'll take that. 23andMe's low, 52-week low is 701. So we're still $1.14 ahead of the worst trade. Matterport sitting at 1634, the 52-week low, 1045. We'll take that, even though we're down $1.60 today. We'll still take it. What can I say? Sofi at 1596 and Rocket Lab 1560, holding a 208 gain. Sofi holding an 81-cent gain. So there's a quick recap of some of these stocks we follow a lot. A few other shares we watch: Robinhood down 99 cents, AMC up 288 to 46.90. SMH, the ETF, down 46 cents. That's the computer chip ETF. Home Depot down 82 cents. We've had a very quiet day here. IBM down $1.67, breaking all our hearts, 137.91. Just making no sense of it whatsoever. Dow is down 221, like I said. Microsoft down 94 cents. Not a bad day. I mean, really. This is a nothing burger. 1/3% on the negative side. Like, this isn't a problem. Apple is up 265. Everyone's expecting a great thing next week. Tesla up $20, been holding steady all day. Was even higher earlier. Bed Bath & Beyond down $1.55 to 25.47. Seems to have patterns in the 20s to the 30 range, kind of in that range, but right now it's on the lower end. BlackBerry down 24 cents to 10.83. Royal Caribbean down on the day, up on the day, down on the day, now up on the day, up $1.76 to 81.19. We have Norwegian up 38 cents. We have Carnival up 51. I am not hearing any news that I can find anywhere that is giving a lot of confidence to foreigners about coming to America to take a cruise. I'm not hearing really any great anything. I'm trying to straighten my glasses here. Maybe my head's crooked. Don't know what to make of this. This 81.22 on Royal Caribbean is double the price it should be. Fundamentally, this stock is barely worth $40. 81.21. There's a whole lot of optimism here, and I tell you, if you think you're buying this at 81.21, this Royal Caribbean, because it's going back to 130, the all-time high of the stock back in 19, just before the shutdown, like back to January 2020 was when it hit its sort of high range. You think it's going there? You think again. there's no way this company is going. This company is saddled with unbearable debt, unbelievably high debt. But I give them kudos. They have been masters at raising billions of dollars, with a B, billions, to stay alive, and at relatively okay rates. But I will tell you this: Royal Caribbean bonds, Norwegian's bonds, and Carnival's bonds, all the bonds that they've ever issued, they just issued or are planning to issue in the next year, all junk rated bonds by the rating agencies. They're all rated junk. They only have to pay 5.5% interest, which to me is shockingly cheap. But what I worry about, and what as an investor in this company, I'd be wondering, if by chance the Federal Reserve wants to increase interest rates at all, sometime in 2022, maybe 2023, if they want to raise rates by a point or so, these bonds will also have higher yields. And if the yields on a Royal Caribbean bond went from 5% to 10%, which junk bonds can easily do, that means that any money you have in Royal Caribbean bonds, say at par, paid $100 for a $100 bond to get 5%, that interest rate trades on the open market at 10%. That means the bond has dropped in value by half. In other words, your $1 bond is trading at 50 cents on the dollar in order for the next person who buys it from you to yield 10%. That is the risk that bondholders are taking with these cruise line stocks. And it's certainly doable that they will not shut down again. They'll keep sailing, and they'll keep bringing passengers on board and stay in business, honoring all their commitments, paying interest to their bondholders. They'll pay it. But the reality is that the perception of bonds for cruise lines will be so awful, and any other entity that's issued junk bonds, by the way, to survive. If rates are perceived to be going higher a year from now, 2 years from now, these bonds, some of these bonds are good for 7 years, it is possible that bondholders who have put up billions of dollars in money will possibly notice that they have lost 25 to 50% to 70% of their value of their bonds while these bonds are rolling along. And it doesn't mean for Royal Caribbean, like, here's the good news for Royal Caribbean: even if interest rates go up, Royal Caribbean won't have to pay more in interest. They'll just pay the same amount of interest they're paying now, because they issued the bonds in the last 2 years, a year and a half, and so they're obligated to pay the interest rate that they've signed up for. It's just that the bonds on the open market will trade at a discount to the original pricing, so that it means if the cruise lines ever want to raise more money, any additional funds to get through a slow 2022, a mediocre 2023, just saying, or they want to we're going to get a new boat, they're trying to get a new ship and finance it, they're going to have a tough time convincing bondholders to cough up more cash when their bondholders already are down 25 to 50% or more on their initial investment in the bonds in the first place that they've already got, which then means these guys have to issue stock to raise cash to meet their obligations. The good news of raising stocks, you don't pay dividends on the stock or interest on stock. The bad news is you dilute all other shareholders, and you're trying to convince new shareholders to come into a highly diluted company scenario. Not good. So why the shares are 81.15? A mystery of life that I cannot tell you about. I think I'm in a bizarro world, and the bizarro world's acting strangely. It's a very difficult world to understand, because in the old days where I come from, and I'm not even that old, I considered the old days the 20s and the 30s, 40s and the 50s. But I'm from the 70s and 80s, man. I'm like from the hip generation, man. We were landing men on the moon back in the 70s. Okay. In any event, you can't land a man on the moon today if you tried. Just saying, we landed men on the moon in 69 to 72, and in those days, bonds like this and stocks like these shares would not be trading at $40 a share. they'd be trading at 25, 30 if you're lucky. And there would be no way that companies like this could raise money from anybody. There would be no way. They're non-American. They're foreign-held, foreign-based corporations that difficult to collect from. No banker would lend these guys money. You're not from here. You're not from around town. Why would I lend you money? I don't even know who you are. But in this bizarro world, you can raise money on junk bond issues, billions of dollars, and keep ships in the water. It's incredible. Of course, on the outside of the coin, the cruise lines are much beloved by many, 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 many Americans and Canadians and foreigners, of which I'm a fan of cruise lines. I'm a fan of going on a cruise ship, but the shares are way out of whack. This company is losing $20 a share right now. Royal Caribbean losing $20 a share right now. Stock's at $80 a share. Next year, they're going to have a great year. They're going to lose $10 a share. They're going to lose $10 a share next year, guaranteed. Stock's at $81. You tell me. You tell me why this stuff should be trading $81. I don't know. Anyway, there's the story right there. On some of the stocks we're following, and I'm doing the best I can with what little we got. It's unbelievable. 1505 on Rocket Lab. We've given up a bit of ground in the last 10 minutes. Got as high as this 1560 something range. We're now 1505. Just saw 50-60 cents disappear off Rocket Lab like that. It is so volatile. Some of these stocks, it's crazy. SoFi 1596 up 81. GameStop 198.19 down 456. Low on the day on GameStop 196.10. We've got Matterport down $1.80 to 16.16. We have 23andMe at 8.22 down 76 cents. The low of the day 8.13. We have Smart Rent down 154, Spire down 121. We have ATI Physical Therapy down 18.5 cents. Sexitera up 88 cents. Unbelievable. The Dow down 237. No recovery in sight anywhere that I can tell you. S&P down 10. NASDAQ up 24 points. Go figure that one. Oil settles lower, down 92 cents a barrel at 68.36. Actually down 93 cents a barrel. That is what we got right here, right now on this market. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. It is a bizarre, strange world in which we are trading these days, and big companies losing big money are trading at big prices. It really, to me, is an amazing thing to witness. But it's a different world. It is what it is. I thought when I studied the securities course, there were certain parameters about how companies could stay in business and what kind of debt ratios they could carry and what kind of cash flow ratios and profits and losses and all that good stuff. But I'm obviously they've obviously changed the chapters. They have something called new math in the world of investing, and cruise lines are definitely in the new math section of the investment business. They're in a whole different area, and it's amazing to me that what blows my mind is that the big bankers, the major bankers of the world, the J.P. Morgans and the Goldman Sachses and the Merrill Lynches and Bank of Americas and all these guys are able to convince institutional investors to cut checks in the form of tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars each towards funding cruise lines. It's amazing. But I guess the problem is, or the reality is that, again, certain funds can buy junk bonds, not all, many cannot. But what they do is the bankers are obviously selling them bonds with insurance to guarantee the dividend as a guarantee. Now, maybe it's like the bond pays 5.75%, and to get insurance, you have to give up 0.5%, and so you get 5.25 net out of 5.75 gross. The half goes to the insurance company to ensure that the dividend is paid. That the interest rate, is paid when due. That could well be the deal, that the bankers are finding ways to make money, and they're in effect selling insurance on behalf of the insurance players, which are clients of the bank, to make a sliver on that deal. They're selling the bonds to make a sliver on that deal, and trying to keep everybody happy at the same time. I mean, making it coming and going, I guess, everywhere else. I don't know. It's an incredible world in which we live. I got to tell you, it's really, really something. Goldman Sachs, by the way, up 22 cents, just holding a little gain here. Amazon up 36 bucks, Facebook up $6, Google up $13. They're all good. That's why the NASDAQ is ahead here. They're holding on with FANG stocks. Even over at Netflix, I was amazed. I saw a write-up on Netflix being recommended to $780 a share. I think this company's dead money. It's 608 right now on the stock. It's been sitting between 500 550 for like 6 months. And I was saying avoid Netflix. I'm still saying avoid Netflix. I don't believe Netflix has the pricing power that the street thinks they have. I think Netflix is up against Disney, Hulu, and others. And I think there will be a revolution. There will be a when I say a revolution, I mean like carnage in the streets revolution. I think consumers are just about at the breaking point when it comes to the tolerance of these pay-per viewing services gouging us. I used to look at Netflix as a pretty good little deal. $10 a month, $8 a month, lots of new movies to watch all the time. Not that way anymore. Now it's all their programming. And the reason it's all their programming is because Netflix came to the fork in the road. They got to the fork in the road and realized, oh my God, we're getting cut off. Disney is going on their own. We can't show Disney stuff anymore. We're going to lose all these other branches of Disney. These other studios are going into their own deals. The only way we survive is Netflix. Unlike the old days when we used to mail out the DVDs in the mail and then quickly offer services, streaming services, we now have to make our own content. We have to become our own network, our own studio. And they did. They poured a lot of money into their stuff and have had some hits. But for the consumer, what we used to get inside a cable package with the 50 channels, 80 channels, 150 channels. Remember the old days? We used to pay the $22 a month to get all these channels. Now we have to buy our content individually from individual channels because Netflix is just a channel now. It's just a channel. Netflix isn't anything special anymore. It's just a channel. It's another channel. So now we gotta buy Netflix on our own. We have to buy HBO. We have to buy Hulu. We have to buy Disney. We have to buy and I think a number of us are adding up the money going, well, okay, we got rid of the cable and we'll just buy our streaming services instead. But you do the math and you realize I'm paying more money now than I used to when I bought cable. I used to get a better deal with cable because I used to get sports. Now I can't even get my sports anymore. I can get most of my sports, but not all of my sports. And I think there's a break point coming where some of us are going to go, I'm not going to pay that anymore. In Canada, Netflix now is $18.95 a month plus taxes. It's a $20 a month package. I used to pay $20 a month for cable for everything. Then I paid $50 a month for cable, then $80 a month for cable, but I got all the cable. Now you want me to pay this plus this plus this, but oh no, I don't think so. So of course, I took great delight in saying goodbye to my cable company as of the 15th of this month because we're not in this house anymore. So that's gone. And now I'm a Wi-Fi only guy, obviously. And I think I'm going to say goodbye to Netflix. And I might say goodbye to other paper services because I don't see the value in it. I'm really wondering, why am I paying these ridiculous fees? And in Canada, every time a new budget comes out, a provincial or in reality, a federal budget comes out, there are all kinds of streaming service taxes that are now being added on top to Canadians. We're just getting killed with this stuff, and more of us are rebelling. And I'm happy to cut it off. Just say no, I'm not. I don't want it. I'll figure out other ways to get my entertainment. I tell you, I really wonder about this. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Here's a shocking headline. Just noticing headline coming through on Market Watch. The Taliban in Afghanistan has announced a new government. They're now appointing people. All male government is being appointed by the Taliban. So It's all back to the good old days, back in the days before America walked in there. It's an all-male Taliban government. I can't wait to hear from the Minister of Women's Affairs. I can't wait to hear from that one. I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah, how many trillions of dollars did America spend on Afghanistan to change things? Yeah, it's funny how things don't change all that much sometimes. Anyway, that just it's a headline. I'm not commenting on too much. I'm just kind of noticing. Back to the markets. Where are we at right now? The Rocket Lab still dropping 1481, still up $1.29, but it's given up some ground. SoFi holding 1593. Gamestop down 482 to 197.93. We have 30 minutes to go. We're down 246 on the Dow. We're down 12 on the S&P, and we're up 20 points on NASDAQ. Matterport down $1.83 to 16.12. No recovery yet. 23andMe 820. Not much of a recovery yet. Down 78 cents. Smart Rent down 157. No recovery yet. Spire down 121. No recovery. ATIP down 19.5 cents. No recovery. Sexitera 991, slipping a little bit under $10. AMC up to 272 holding, and Robinhood down 127. AMC up nicely. GameStop down. Yeah, GameStop's coming up with numbers tomorrow. AMC doesn't have to come up with numbers tomorrow. Interesting. Headline that came out a little while ago here. AMC attendance surpasses 2019 levels for the first time during the pandemic, thanks to Marvel's Shanghai, the movie coming out. More than 2 million people watched movies at AMC's US-based cinemas between September 2 and September 5, making the highest number of admissions for Labor Day weekend in the company's history. The holiday weekend also marked the first time since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic that attendance during a weekend in 2021 outpaced attendance for the same weekend in 2019. AMC CEO Adam Aron pointed to the new Marvel Cinematic Universe film Shanghai and The Legend of the Ten Rings as the main driver of foot traffic over the holiday weekend. Disney's Shanghai and The Legend of the Ten Rings topped 90 million in the sales of domestic box office over a 4-day Labor Day weekend, helping AMC Entertainment smash its admissions record for the holiday. More than 2 million people watched movies at AMC's US-based cinemas between September 2-5, marking the highest number of admissions in the history of the company for this weekend. This holiday weekend also marked the first time since 2019. They outdid it. Encouraging shares are excited. They're excited. Let's see. Shanghai tallied 71 million in ticket sales Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Total box office haul for the 40 was top 90 million. That's great. Ticket sales traditionally week over Labor Day. Holiday studios have not debuted major blockbuster features over that weekend, as a theatrical only release and part of Marvel franchise Shanghai easily outpaced the previous debuts. Well, I can see why they did do Shanghai this holiday weekend, because it was the last one of the summer. What do you got to lose? It's been a disaster up until now, and out it went. How can you not beat it? Good to see. What will the second week of the movie do? There's the question. We'll see. Anyway, that's just news that just popped out, and the market likes it. The stock is up 285, but in the last half hour, it hasn't moved very much. The shares were as high as 47.82, about a dollar higher than where we are now, roughly. But we are at 46.88, up 290 right now. 46.92 up 290. So it's holding a gain, good gain. Nothing wrong with the gain. Thank you very much. But for friends at GameStop, no help today. 198.69 down 406. Tomorrow is GameStop's financials coming out for the second quarter, I think it is. Second quarter financials and conference call. And Rocket Lab will have their financials out tomorrow. And maybe that's why now, this afternoon, we're getting a drop in the stock from the highs. I don't know. 1484 on Rocket Lab, up $1.32, up $1.32. This morning at 11 o'clock, it was at 1646. So this stock is off $1.60 from its high, roughly, on the day. Right now at 1480, up $1.28 on 14.5 million. But Rocket Lab has had a good run lately, and it's still adding to it today. SoFi holding 1592, up 77 cents here. Matterport 1613, 23andMe at 820, down 77 right here, right now. There's where we're at right there, kids. Watching this all closely. AMC trying to put a little rally on here at 46.96. The news might be spreading a bit, might be helping the stock just a little. The Dow down 240, no recovery coming here in the last 25 minutes from what I can see. We're down 11 on S&P, up 21 on NASDAQ right here. We'll see what's going on. Barron's headline, Goldman Sachs expects less GDP growth this year. Blame Delta and consumer spending. So the Delta virus and consumer spending not hitting the levels that were anticipated. And Goldman Sachs is saying that the GDP growth numbers will not reach what they were hoping for. There's moderation. Now, I heard today, over the weekend, millions of Americans, maybe 6 or 7 million Americans, lost their COVID relief benefits. They've expired and have not been renewed. And so that is now gone. There's worry, concern, and speculation among analysts of what the effect of this will be. How many of those millions will just hunker down and try to survive on less? How many will be forced back to food banks to make it? How many will get behind in bills again because they just can't make it? And or how many of those folks will now work at a job that may or may not equal what they were getting from the government, may or may not be desirable. They might be only jobs that will be filled temporarily because of the concern of their safety, the people's safety. They're worried about catching the variant. Or folks who will, wherever they are, I mean, they may be in a physical location where they can't find work wherever they happen to be at, and they have to be where they're at because they're looking after relatives and others who are having tough time. I don't know. There's this whole debate in Congress and the Senate and everywhere else and in the media about the lazy people collecting benefits who don't want to work, where the reality is a lot of people would rather work. They rather enjoy working, and they enjoy the camaraderie with coworkers and the sense of accomplishment, and they would like to get ahead in life. But then there are those who are restricted to being able to do it because of many extenuating circumstances: children, relatives, very ill family members. Who knows? Just I don't know. But it's a complicated world, and we're in it. Rocket Lab 1491, gaining $1.39 on the day, trying to hold this level of just under 15. SoFi 1592, just under $16 share, up 77 cents. Right here, right now, the Dow up negative, 251. That's where we're at right now. Anyway, there you go. There you are, guys. So if Rocket Lab comes out missing forecasts, should we expect a big drop? I don't know, formulas. My gut says no. My gut says the stock has not run up to these levels because of the earnings. I don't think the earnings have anything to do with the run up of the stock. I think what it is is that the company has so many hundreds of contracts in their back pocket to launch satellites into space. They're so busy with their workload that, and hopefully tomorrow they'll announce during the earnings that here's our numbers for the last quarter, but here's our situation, and our situation is that we have 450 contracts or 282 contracts, whatever the number is, worth hundreds of millions of dollars of launch orders in our back pocket. We have hundreds of millions of dollars of launch orders. And now that we're publicly funded, we have enough dough to build out our rocket facility and improve our launch costs. Every time we raise a rocket into the sky, it costs us less to do so because we're more efficient now. We can crank out these rockets quicker than ever before and cheaper than ever before. On and on and on it goes. And I think that's why the stock is been rising. I think that's why the shares have risen lately. It's just that the company is now being discovered and is being analyzed by public company analysts who are going, this company can make a lot of money. These guys could make a whole bunch of money, and the shares could be a really good deal. This finance thing and this whole pattern of lousy trading after financials are released are not helping this afternoon. I'll grant you that. And maybe tomorrow the stock will be sluggish, but then again, maybe not. I just have a feeling, though, that this company is becoming discovered by many, many more players who love SpaceX, who love the Virgin Galactic story. They've seen the kind of money that's been made on that stuff, and they're just coming into here. That could be what's really going on. I don't know. Bruce, what do you think about calls on Smart Rent at $7.50 strike for March 22nd? They'd run $5.49. It's just a 50-cent premium. I bought 8 of these things. Smart Rent. Well, I think it's an excellent move. That's absolutely brilliant. You're getting the leverage of the contracts. You're paying a 50-cent premium. Yeah, I like your game plan. Of course, the shares pop back up to say $15. If they pop into that level, you got a $7.50 book value contract plus 50-cent premium. Say you got an $8 contract. You're nicely ahead. That's just this for starters. I like it. Yeah, I like your move. Well done. Here we go. I'm looking for a drop on that Rocket Lab to get some more. It won't stay down long. You could be right. You could be well correct in your assumption here. 1468 here, down up still at $1.16. Let's see. Welcome back, Uncle Bruce. Hope it was a good weekend. Rocket Lab has their corner earnings tomorrow. I think they'll get the SPAC treatment and go down with the taxes one-time incidental fees like all the others did. I don't know. We've been talking about this. Not saying there aren't a lot of what you're saying, but I also believe there's a ton of content to stay home and be paid to play Xbox. There you go. There's also the YouTube channel, which is a plethora of entertainment. I have to say, I watched the other day. Now, being a Canadian, you have to forgive me. Okay? I'm a Canuck, okay? So I'm a hockey fan. I'm a Canadian. And I love the old school hockey boys, the old days. It just, because I grew up with it. I watched on Netflix a 2-hour video, Game 8, the last game between the Russians and the Canadians in 1972, the Super Summit series that we've come to mention it. Game 8, where the teams going into that game had won 3, lost 3, and tied 1. And this was for all the marbles in Moscow. And I watched a broadcast of this game as it happened, with all the technical problems in the middle, with the breaking up of the picture, because in those days the satellite imagery from Moscow went to Finland, from Finland to London, from London to Canada, all through satellites and cables. And oh my gosh, it was color. Incredibly, it was color. But there were glitches and sound glitches, but it was just like it was. And I watched that whole game with a little bit of fast forwarding, but not a lot, on Netflix. And I own the DVD of this entire 8-game series, but I don't watch DVDs anymore, and I won't be watching DVDs anymore. I was watching this on YouTube. Nothing. I love it. What a deal of a deal of a deal. I watched last night for at least an hour and a half. I watched anywhere from 5-minute to 15-minute clips of What's My Line from the 1950s and 60s, black and white, as broadcast, with a whole bunch of celebrities of the day trying to stump the panel. I love that stuff. That reminds me of my childhood. And television done with class. That was the class, one of the classiest shows on all of television. What's My Line? Because the panelists, who are trying to guess who these people are dressed to the nines. Like, the guys are in tuxedos or wearing, dinner jackets. Women in evening gowns. You just don't do that anymore. It's just not. That's not done. This is in New York, 10:30 to 11 o'clock Sunday night. Just think about this. 10:30 to 11 o'clock live television from New York. And these folks are dressed like they just came from a Hollywood premiere, like a Broadway premiere show. The host in a tuxedo, like, what do you call that tie? A bow tie and a tuxedo. And then these movie stars coming out trying to get them. I love that stuff. I just can't get enough. Watching Jack Benny trying to stump these guys. He can't do it. He can't disguise his voice. Poor Jack Benny. Love that stuff. I'm watching that for an hour and a half. Free, of course, and just loving it. Watching Kara and Nate. Love Kara and Nate. That is a couple that is just phenomenal. Traveling the world, and happened to watch a bloopers video they made over a year, hour and a half long, if something like that. It's just I couldn't stop laughing. I loved it. I just loved it. I didn't mind the commercials in the video. I didn't mind it. Love it. Do I need the idiot box for that? No, I don't need that. Yeah, the world's changing. The world's changing even for me. Unbelievable. What can I say? Anyway, welcome Wall to the show here. Is the Rocket Lab Aftermarket class closes tomorrow? We think so. Let's see. Let's go. What else have we got here? Let's go. I couldn't find the beer bong. So if SoFi closes above 16, my wife and I are going to shotgun a beer. She's in. Well, 15.90, and we got 14 minutes to go on the SoFi. So hang on, folks. Let's see what happens. Gamestop down $5, 197.75. Matterport still at 16.19, no recovery. 23andMe still down 79 cents, no recovery. Smart Rent 12.46, no recovery. Spire down 125, no recovery here. ATIP down 22.5 cents. It's just an off day here. It's what it is. We had a couple of good days last week. Off day today. Uncle Bruce, I currently have GameStop written call at $250 strike price, January 22nd expiry. It now costs around $37 to close it out. Is it worth rolling over to June 22 at a strike price at $300 for around $47? I would get $1,000 profit if I made this move. So, no, I wouldn't move right now. Let me think a minute here. I'm just going to catch this. You're at 250 and we're at 197 on the stock. Okay, so we all remember, those of you who were here, you all remember that 3 months ago when GameStop was coming out with their first quarter financials, what happened with the shares? They had gone from 160.70 to the 210.20 range about 10 days before. Then they ran up to 280, got up to 330. The earnings came out. It was a nothing burger announcement. It was a lousy conference call. They blew it. Came right back down to the 250 level, and then eventually back to the 200 level, and then back into the 150 level. And here we are, 3 months later. The stock got up to 237 last week, 225, 227, 231, maybe 231. And here we are at 197, and it's the day before. And it's all different. It's not the same. You could think it's the same, but it's not the same at all. We didn't get the big anything. And yeah, touch 230, I'll grant you that. It was 150, 160, touch 230, but it didn't do the 300, 330. Here we are at 197.98. What to do? And here is a viewer with a call option written against the stock with a 250 expiry. Now, I on the one hand, I kind of like your idea, because if you were to roll this over to June, of course, you're going further out, right? You're going further out in time to write a 300. I like the idea, but I also like the idea of doing nothing, and I'll tell you why. Right now, you are $52 out of the money at this moment in time, and you have until January, right? The shares can climb to 210, 220, and you're still way out of the money. Although, the options will go up in value, right? But you're under no distress or urgency to do a rollover, although you can, anytime you want, do a rollover like this one down the road. And that might be the right move, is to do a rollover. If the shares rise to 220, 230, 240, then I would look at doing the 300 rollover. because that 300 will be much more valuable, and you might still do. However, let's suppose tomorrow here come the numbers, and no matter what happens tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, the shares are sitting here, 199. 200. They go to 210, 215 to come back off, or they back off to 185. Let's just say they go down another $13 a share to 185. Your January 250s will drop quite a bit more. They will give up probably 35% of whatever the stock does. So if the stock drops $10, the contract will drop $3.50. If the stock drops $20, it'll drop $7. I would think at least. But as each day keeps going on here into September now, these Januaries aren't so far away anymore compared to where we were back in March and April. They're getting closer, aren't they? And we know that with all the other options we're watching and all the other stocks we're watching. What you're looking for as an option writer is deterioration, depreciation, and collapse of the premium on the contract. And what you're looking for is the holders, the long holders of these January 250s to throw in the towel and go, it just didn't happen for me. Because they bought these 250s in the last month or so, anticipating a big run on the shares from the 150 level to the 300 and beyond level, and they didn't get it. They haven't got it yet. And they still haven't got it, and it's the day before the earnings, and they got nothing. They got a gain from 150.60 to year 198, but they didn't get the big payoff. Now, theoretically, some option buyers of these 250 contracts bought them a month ago for probably half the price they're trading at now, and the shares have run higher. When the stock reached 227 and 230 last week, they may have popped out there. Great, but they've backed off now to here along with the stock. Now the question on our minds is, what will the shares do tomorrow? What are the odds of GameStop going higher tomorrow and Thursday, or lower between tomorrow and Thursday? I'm going to say it's greater than 50-50 on the downside. Just my personal take on it. Unless there is a phenomenal announcement coming, which we have all been anticipating, hoping, and praying for. If there's something phenomenal coming, these shares will go higher. But if nothing phenomenal is going to happen, if it's just another quarterly report that shows progress or shows, the company evolving into an e-commerce company, but it's nothing earth-shattering beyond that, could the shares back off to 180 a share? Yeah, they could. And that would then make these contracts, these 250s, really drop off. The 300s in April will drop off too, but they have till April. They have a lot more time. June's, I'm sorry, those Junes, I'm just reading it again. The June's contract will have the extra 6 months. I don't think you want to use that right now. I think you want to keep this rollover in your back pocket as if I need to, I can do this transaction. I think that's maybe the way you want to play this. So let the shares do what they do. And if they go into the 230, 240, 250 level, or even to 270, 280, you can always roll these 250 Januaries into 300 or 350 Junes later, and do that at that time. Right now, I wouldn't. That's my take on it. All right. Let's see how this all works out. Hope you like the answer, or hope you don't mind the answer. What's happening with IBM? YBM. What's with YBM? Down $1.57 to 138. Yeah, not a lot good. We're waiting for this split to be announced and details to be released. We got nothing. Let's see. Anyone remember how the GameStop dipped after the last earnings report? That's just the thing. YBM. We're all one. This is how you spell IBM. It's YBM. That's right. Rich kids never understood regular kids. Have you ever noticed that? They never understood. Oh, man. Let's see here. SoFi still attracting too many day traders buying and selling on a dime difference. We'll always do that. This stock will keep trading and will keep attracting day traders. Active stocks always do. Apple has day traders for a dime all the time. Yeah. Anyway. Must you own GameStop today to get the dividend? Am I holding? There's no dividend declared. There's no nothing. If they were to declare a dividend, it would give you 2 to 3 weeks time to be a shareholder. They don't generally do a dividend where they say, oh, by the way, as of yesterday, if you held the stock, you get it, but as of now, you don't know. They will announce a dividend that's payable in maybe November, that or mid-October, and mid-September or late September is the record date. So you have time to make your move. Uncle Bruce, what would you do as a writer of a $175 GameStop September 10 contract? Roll tomorrow or today or wait till Friday. There you go. Well, Mirko, this is one of those things where you can roll anytime you want for any strategy you want to employ. So, okay. If you think that the shares are going to go down after the earnings, you would roll today or tomorrow. I wouldn't roll anything tonight. I'd do nothing now. You got 5 minutes to go. I won't do anything. Let's see what happens tomorrow. But if the shares take a shot tomorrow during the day and they go upwards, it doesn't matter. Like you have all day tomorrow to make your move to roll over your contract. But if the shares were to back off tomorrow afternoon in anticipation, or tomorrow in the aftermarket they back off, and it's Friday morning now, you're Thursday. Hang on a second. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so Thursday. You have Thursday to make a move all day, no problem. And after the earnings are out, you can see how the aftermarket performed, how the pre-market performed. Then you can decide what you want to do. And what I mean by that is you will either buy these contracts back for less than you paid for them if the shares drop enough, or your shares are still in the money. You know, these contracts are in the money because the shares are 180, 190, 195. You can roll over into 200, 210s further out and bring in more money. You can always do that. If the shares take off and go to 250, 270, 300, you can still do a rollover on these Thursday, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, into 350s, 400s further down. You can always. So the rollover is always in your back pocket, and you can wait it out till Thursday. Let's see what happens. So that's what I would look at. All right. If you'd have told me last night that Sexitera and Sofi would be up huge and my account would be down 10 grand today, I would have laughed. Felix Unger, Matterport, and ME. Felix Unger, that's what that means. Oh, no one wants Austin's wife to beer hug wide in the face. 1586. I don't know if you guys are going to be chugging beer. 1586. You might have to sip it civilly rather than chug it, as a celebration. My thought was to cover myself in case of a huge run-up after the earnings announcements, but I doubt it will happen in such a manner to exercise me at 250. Oh, so yes, I wait. Thank you, Uncle B. There you go. Austin, I was seesawing like that too. Then I put a blindfold on. Bought SoFi instead. You guys read it yourselves. Oh, man. I'm amazed you haven't been exercised yet. No, you're not going to get exercised until the very end. Necessarily. I mean, that's the way to do it. I just convinced one of my friends to get into GameStop. He just bought one share now. Oh, my gosh. We're down to 2 minutes. Rocket Lab up 93 cents at 14.45. We're giving up some ground here. SoFi holding at 15.86, up 69 cents. GameStop coming back a bit to 199.07, down 3.68. Matterport down 184, still no recovery. 23andMe down 81 cents, no recovery. Smart Rent down 169, no recovery. Spire today 115 on the down dip, tiny little bit of recovery. Nothing serious here. ATIP down 24. No recovery. Sexitera 9.97, up 76 cents. AMC up 3.85, just jumped $1 in the last 20 minutes after I read this article to you. It's a dead cat bounce, but good for AMC. Hood, Robinhood down 121, little recovery. Vanik down 62, Home Depot down 132, IBM at $138, down 150, down 267. No recovery on the day. It's going to be a down day today. It's going to be a down day today, with a couple of winners, but mostly losers, and the bells are about to go, and that is the deal. Uncle, there's no news on ME, and Matterport is down today, not even 227. 2 minutes left, just want the bleeding to be over. At least I won't be bag holding that baby, did you all? Rocket Lab profits at 16 earlier, can buy back in after earnings. 1 minute left. I just need a ATIP to go up. It's my biggest loser. Got to wait this one out until tomorrow, kids. That's what we got to do. We're going to have a $1 gain on Rocket Lab, it looks like, 14.52. SoFi up 68 cents. GameStop 199.07 as the bells are about to ring. The end of the day is coming through. And what can I tell you, kids? It was one of those wacky days. SoFi did very well today. Held a solid gain all day long. It did well. We gotta say thank you. Yes, Chatter, I got 620 off just one call. I got $620 off of just one call. Thumbs up, says Trish the Dish. Thank you, Trish the Dish. We have 204 thumbs up, so I thank you for those. We'll see how this aftermarket messes up here. It goes along. We'll see what's going on. Larry, you missed the close. Where are you, Larry, with the bells? What's going on, Larry? Larry must be out and about or something. Oot in the boot, as we say up here. $14.50 on Rocket Lab, up 98 cents on the day. SoFi up 68 to $15.84. GameStop closing at $199.06 on a volume of 2.4 million. GameStop losing $3.68. Matterport $16.11. That was 7 cents higher than the low of the day. No recovery. ME at $8.17, 4 cents above the low of the day. Smart Rent $12.36, 4 cents above the low of the day. These are bargains at the end of the day. Spire Global $10.66, 16 cents better than the low of the day. And there you have it. ATIP down 24 cents to 4.31, 1 penny above the low of the day. Sexitera $9.94 to gain 73 cents on the day. There you have it. Negative. I did not miss the closest, Larry. I was here. Right on, buddy. Right on, man. 204, 210. Nice. I bought puts on Rocket Lab. That's why I told you all to take profits. Did my bells not show? Apparently not, my friend. You didn't post the bells. They show on my chat. So I'm not showing why. I'm not seeing them here. I'm shocked. I'm completely shocked, Larry. They're not showing it all. I don't know what happened. Don't know what to say, but your messages are here. So it's all cool, my friend. It's all good times. There you have it. What a crazy day. The Dow down today, 267 points to 35,101. Only 40 points better than the worst of the day. So we were towards the end, just a blah day. So there you have it. What can I say? Yeah, what can I say? Blame the dentist. There you go. Blame the dentist. Sorry, folks, but that's the way it went. Oh, my gosh. And the NASDAQ sets a new record by closing up 10.8 points. NASDAQ, new all-time record high. One of the markets still clinging to all-time records. How about that? DQ, there's some bells. Thank you very much. We got the bells. Oh, my goodness. $14.53 in Rocket Lab in the after hours. We're up 3 cents. SoFi in the aftermarket, $15.86, up 2 cents. That's what we have. The Dow finishes down over 260 points. NASDAQ ekes out a record high. Records headlines are saying right there. How about that? GameStop after hours, $199.10, up 4 cents. So you got nothing really going on here on the aftermarket. Matterport, $16.11, unchanged in the aftermarket. Not a lot to get excited about there. No change on ME either. Oh my gosh. There it was. I saw another movie over the weekend. I don't know if you got this or if you've seen this one. It's a movie with Michael Keaton on, I want to say it's on Netflix. It was about the guy that is a lawyer who volunteered and was asked by the President of the United States and the Senate and the Justice Department to lead the compensation board for, he was what's known as special master. He had to decide how much the payouts would be for victims of 9/11. People in the towers, firefighters, the first responders, all this, the passengers on the airplanes, all this stuff. Very interesting movie. It was a depressing topic, obviously, but it was fascinating to see the absolute stress on this individual and all of his associates at the practice, what they had to go through and what they had to endure to try to, handle this whole mess. What a fascinating story. I really found it a well-made movie. Kudos. I love Michael Keaton. He just he's such an incredibly good actor. I didn't look at him and went, that's Batman. I didn't think of him as Batman in that role. I thought of him as this guy, and that's what actors can do. Very interesting how that came through. Anyway, what can I say? Excuse me, Mr. Bruce, Mr. YouTube. I'd like to speak with the manager about my bells not showing up at Jack Frost. The fact that Keaton didn't win an Oscar for Jack Frost enrages me. I'm still mad about it. I've been running my own website about it since 2008. I'm kidding. Laugh out loud. Yeah, he didn't win the Oscar for that. What was that movie called with the birds or something like that? You remember that movie? I don't think he won. I don't think he won the Oscar. I thought he should have won it too. Because the movie won the Oscar, didn't it? I thought so. Trying to remember that. And I was also disappointed that that Tom Hanks didn't win his third Oscar when he made Saving Private Ryan. I thought that was an Oscar performance, but he didn't win. Birdman, thank you, Robert. It was Birdman. Yeah, didn't Birdman win the? Did it not win the Oscar? And it won like a bunch of Oscars, but Michael Keaton didn't win the Oscar. I think yeah, Bergen, yeah, Birdman, right? Yeah, there we go. And Jim Carrey, he won the Golden Globe for The Truman Show, but he didn't win the Oscar. And I thought that was Oscar worthy. I thought it was brilliant. If Robin Williams can win an Oscar, Jim Carrey could win an Oscar, but they didn't give it to him. And Jim Carrey put some incredible productions out there, phenomenal movies out there. Couldn't win awards. I don't know. What are you going to do? A Truman Show robbery. There you go. Yeah, because the co-star, didn't he win the Oscar? The guy that was up in the thing, wasn't it? What was his name? Remember that? Also, Shawshank should have been beaten Forrest Gump. Shawshank, great movie. Forrest Gump, unique. Yeah, really. Oscars, what are you gonna do? They are what they are. Harrison Ford, no Oscars. Burt Reynolds, no Oscars. It's incredible. Some of the greatest actors. Yeah, Ed Harris. Yeah, didn't he win the Oscar for supporting actor? Did he not win that? I can't remember. You remember that? I am torn between Beetlejuice and Multiplicity for Michael Keaton's best film. Oh, Multiplicity, phenomenal movie. Also, My Life, Michael Keaton in My Life. Have you ever seen that one? That is incredible. Yeah. Oscar. Yeah, he did. Yeah, all this film talk goes whooshing over my head, says British. Well, what are you gonna do? Yeah, Oscars and movies and all that good stuff. Yeah, Gung Ho, Beetlejuice, Batman, one of my favorite Keaton films. Also, Jackie Brown, he plays a detective cop. He was also in that movie with Larry David and Goldie Hawn's daughter. Forgetting her name at the moment. And John Hamm. In the movie, was that Kate Hudson was the daughter, was the gal who started that movie with John Hamm and Michael Keaton and Larry David, and it was all about the movie, all about the electric car that they had. It was absolutely hilarious. And I love Michael Keaton's role when he played a lunatic bomb maker or something like that. He was great. He was crazy. And then he had the guy from Saturday Night Live with him. What's the guy's name for Saturday Night Live? What are you doing here? Bill Hader. Hader was in that movie. He was Michael Keaton's sidekick in that movie. Absolutely hilarious. Those two were hilarious. I consider Harrison Ford to be a whisper actor. I consider Harrison Ford to be a brilliant actor. I think he's fantastic. Fugitive, got nothing. Regarding Henry, got nothing. Even Sabrina, the remake, did a great job on that movie. And even Air Force One did a great job. I love Harrison Ford. I like Michael Keaton as an actor. I just never understood all the love he gets for playing Bruce Wayne Batman. I'm sorry that Bruce Wayne comics does not receding curly hair bug me too. Michael Keaton is Batman. he's the man. He was most recently the protege, good flick, and it bugged me seeing him as Bruce Wayne. Says Lobo Blast. Oh, it's okay. It's all good. I loved Michael Caine as the butler. Loved Michael Caine as Alfred. I thought I think he did a great job. I also liked what was the gentleman that played him as well? He was in Shawshank Redemption. He also played Alfred in the other. He was the co-star in Shawshank Redemption. Morgan Freeman. Wasn't Morgan Freeman Alfred? Am I missing that? Am I blowing that? I thought he was in a couple of instances. I thought he was. But I did like Michael Caine as Alfred. Yeah, I love the original Alfred in the television series. As far as that's my original Alfred, the TV series. I loved that original Alfred. I thought he was kind of cool. But I'm showing my age, 1966. What can I say? TV show from 1966. Yeah, I love the Catwoman in Batman, the TV show. Lee Merriweather and I can't remember the other two gals. Eartha Kitt, I think, was one. And yeah, I liked how they wore those outfits. Of course, I was 11, 12, and 13, so things were happening at that time when I was that age, and seeing those Catwoman outfits was like, whoa. If I were 8 and watching that TV show versus 13, what is a whole different experience when you're 13 watching that television series. Chemicals were flowing, and testosterone was being manufactured, and the voice box was changing, and all kinds of other things were happening. But we're not going there. Morgan Freeman played Lucius Fox in Batman. Oh, okay. He played Lucius Fox. He played the special military equipment guy from Bruce Wayne Enterprises, not Alfred. Thank you. Thank you. That's right. I was born in 1966. Anti-PC says, no, Uncle Bruce. Ben Affleck is the definitive Batman. However, I am looking forward to seeing Keaton reprising his role as Bruce Wayne in the new Flash movie. I love Bruce Wayne as Batman. So awesome. Saw a clip of Keaton being followed by paparazzi and ignoring them, and one of them yelled, "What do you think about Bitcoin?" And he goes, "Hey, you know what? My finance guy told me to consider it." Laugh out loud. Morgan was not Alfred. Okay, thank you, everybody. I'm just old. Well, that's where Bruce got his BDSM introduction. He'd be up about 4.5 times from that. 4.5 times from that time. Yeah, I butchered his name. I'm sorry, but Adam West will always be Batman. You're all wrong. Clearly, Adam West is the definitive Batman. Oh, there you go. I meant Adam West, not Bruce Wayne. Well, there you go. Definitive. I love the movie they made in '66 with all the original television cast members in it. I love that movie. I thought it was great. Just so much fun. Just so much fun. Batman, yeah. I remember going to the Canadian National Exposition in Toronto. They had this big building, like a conference building, and they had all these, the latest appliances and the latest home gizmos and all that stuff. Well, anyway, General Electric or Admiral Television Company, whoever it was, had their huge display of all their brand new televisions for 1966, 67. And we went in there, and my mom and my dad and myself and my sister, we went in there and got into the television booth area, which was, to me, was gigantic, like the size of a football field, which it wasn't. And there were all these color televisions all on at the same time. And it was like magic. It was just like, wow, color televisions, more than one. There were like 8 or 10 of them running at the same time. And what did they have on? Batman, the television series. I had been watching Batman on a black and white television at home, and here I am watching Batman in color on 10 different televisions at the same time. The portables, the consoles. mind blowing. Just mind blowing. Just to see this incredible technology as a 13, 12-year-old, 13-year-old. Color TVs were still magic at that time. Were really the good life. You had to win the Irish sweepstakes lottery to have one of those, and I knew that for a fact because I had a friend of mine down the street whose parents won the Irish sweepstakes lottery in real life. They won $35,000 in 1968. $35,000. The house we were in was $30,000 when my dad bought it. They won more than a house of money. And what did they do? They bought a console color television for their living room in their little house. They didn't buy a new house. They just bought a TV for the house, a color TV for the house. And my buddy was allowed, he was given permission by his mother to invite two of his buddies over to watch an NHL playoff hockey game. And it was Detroit and Chicago, from Detroit. And I had never seen a color NHL hockey game before on any television. And this one wasn't even in Toronto or Montreal. It was in Detroit. Oh, mind blower. I mean, the Red Wings were in red in center ice. Oh, wow. The old Olympia in Detroit. Color television. Oh, my gosh, you guys. Giddy. Anyway, what can I say? All of you, thank you for being here tonight. The old stories of a young boy, the changing world that he was involved with. And within a year, we landed man on the moon, which is the other mind blow, that we didn't even have a color TV when man did land on the moon. Unreal. And when the last man landed on the moon, we did have a color television, and we did see color pictures live from the moon's surface. That's another mind blower. That's just another mind blower for a kid who was born in 55. And I remember television as a 6, 7-year-old, 61, 62, always black and white in the house until 1971. I think my dad finally got a color TV, 70 or 71 maybe, finally got a color TV. Oh, that was a big day in our house, let me tell you. No one got to touch it. No one got to touch it. Adam West, Cesar Romero, Burgess Meredith, Frank Gorshin. So good. Yes, indeed. I'm not that old, but I remember when I was a kid, people would still buy small black and white TVs for bedrooms or the garage kitchen just because they're like $50 to $100. I remember my parents in my second year of college, not my first year. My first year of college, I was in a room from Monday to Friday, and I had my stereo with me, the one that you've seen behind me all these years. I had that with me, and that was my lifeline because that had an AM FM or stereo radio in there as well. I had my guitar. That was it. That's all I had. I had my AM FM stereo radio. I had my guitar. Monday to Friday, no television. The second year, for my birthday, my mother and father gave me a portable 12-inch television, black and white television. And I now had TV in my room. Oh, my goodness. I could watch Monday Night Football from WKBW television from Buffalo. I could pick up Monday Night Football, and on Wednesdays, I could see a hockey game. The Maple Leafs playing hockey, usually at home, Wednesday night, or occasionally Montreal. So I had at least 2 sporting events I could watch. And then whatever else was on television, Tuesdays and Thursday nights. Oh my gosh, what a luxury that was. Yes, indeed, the black and white TV. Why thank you, Auntie, saying why thank you, honey. That was at my birthday party a few years ago, so not really my age now. Whatever that means. Yes, way back when. Oh yeah, my parents bought me a TV. I think it cost them $100, $100, and I think Jennifer and I had that TV for the next 10 years. When we moved in together, we had that television. I'm not sure if we watched that TV for the first year we were together. I can't be sure, but I do recall the first television I bought myself, my own television, and that was a console television from our grocery store, the Co-op grocery store in Calgary. We bought this console TV on sale for something like $480, which was more than a month's rent. It was huge money. This is 1977. We bought ourselves a television. Oh my God, that was, yeah, we were paying $372 a month in rent. We paid $485 for the television, something like that. Wow. And then it broke down in six months. It had a problem. We got it repaired under warranty, no charge. And then a year later, we bought a portable television. By 1980, I bought a portable color TV, a 21-incher for the bedroom that we just put on our dresser. And I believe it came with a remote. I can't remember for sure, but I think it did. We had that for a good 10 years. Oh, those are the days when you spent money on the newest fandangled electronics. Oh my gosh, I got to tell you, I love how he reads things out of context. I'm just reading comments. I'm doing the best I can. I just see him going through. What can I say? Anyway, thank you all. I thought your first TV fell off the back of a truck. Yeah. In my house, full-size TVs were color. Only the portable was black and white. Hated playing NES on that thing. 1980s kid. Oh, man. We got a color TV, before we got a dishwasher in our house. The color TV came first. The dishwasher came second in my father's house. Those were, oh, my gosh. Will you play guitar for us sometime? I don't know if I ever would. I don't know if I ever do that. My small TV didn't have a remote, so I had to lay on the floor to flip the channels with my toes. Yeah, my portable was just, I only had like 4 channels I could get, 3 or 4 channels with the bunny ears, the rabbit ear. Oh man. Yeah, those were times. Oh gosh, those were days. Yeah, I remember my first year of college. I rented this room in this house, $20 a week. So I slept in the house. I was in that house Monday nights, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and then Fridays I'd go to school, and then I'd leave. I'd come back to the house, grab my stuff, and I'd go home for the weekend. And I was so bored being in this house without a television. If it was raining and stuff, I'd stay in and I would just listen to my radio. I have my LPs with me. I'd listen to relevant records. I had a headphone set so I could listen to all I wanted. I had my guitar. But I'd be bored, of course. After a while, you just be bored of this. So if it was fall in Ontario, still, September, October, I would head downtown. I'd head downtown to Yonge Street, and I would just to get out of the house. And I would have dinner. I would plan dinner on, say, a Monday night or a Tuesday night. I would plan dinner where I would go all the way down to Yonge Street in downtown Toronto, where all the crazies were and all the tourists were and all that. And I would go into a Mr. Sub, not a Subway, but a Mr. Sub, Canadian brand, and I could get an all-meat, assorted meat sub, nuked, warmed up, for $2.15. And I had just enough money to buy me one of those, and that would be a gourmet dinner for me. Gourmet Mr. Sub submarine. Oh man! And I'd walk all the way back to Bloor and Spadina, and that'd be like 3 miles each direction. But the architecture and the everything, it would be an outing. It would be like a 3 hours out of the house from this house. So from 5 until 8 at night or 9 at night, I'd be out. And when I come back, I'd be nice and, have a nice walk, and I'd be tired, and I'd just fall asleep and, get up the next morning. But eventually I got a job. I went and got work just for something to do, and I make a few bucks. But thankfully, my second year, I didn't have to do that anymore. Man. Those are days. I didn't have that university life with a bunch of pals, because our class was people commuted in for school and then commuted out, so we didn't have anyone hanging around. There were only about 4 or 5 of us that lived in the area every night, and so we didn't there was none of this camaraderie thing. We weren't in dormitories, none of that, so we were on our own. It was a whole different world than what you see on TV. I liked when TVs were so heavy they doubled as a small table where in a real hard wood case, and the only time you moved is because TV needed repair or you were moving. That's right, they never moved. I bought a 26-inch Sony Trinitron in 1997 at Circuit City. I lugged it up 3 flights of stairs by myself. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, they also had weird names like Zenith and Quasar, and they were all made in the USA. What was the television that was made in the USA? The TV made in the USA, darn well worth it. The most expensive television, and darn well worth it, was made in the USA. Anybody know the name of that brand? Yeah, half the channels were snow. I remember our old 19-inch Philco in the living room and the turn dial to change channels. At some point, the dial messed up, and you had to hold it slightly between channels to tune them in. Uncle Bruce, I think my aunt still has her floor model TV. She just threw a tablecloth over it and put her LCD TV on top of that. Yeah, it's a stand. Laugh out loud. Nice. Yeah, back then, TVs were furniture, not much electronics. That's right. Oh, what was the name of that television that was made in the United States? The most expensive television and darn well worth it. And the owner of the company was on television promoting his own TVs. He died in a plane accident in Cincinnati, along with a famous Canadian singer, songwriter at the time. In this would be in 1980 or 81. 82, something like that. It wasn't Magnavox. No, it wasn't Magnavox. No. Curtis Mathis. Bingo. Exactly. The Curtis Mathis Company. Mr. Curtis Mathis was the president and owner of the company, and he was on national television promoting his Curtis Mathis televisions. The last brand made in America, the most expensive television in America, and darn well worth it because it's made by Americans, and it had a following. But after he passed away, the company within a year or two died, unfortunately. We got a TG&Y TV once, good TV. Remember Sony's came out and Hitachi's came out from Japan. Sony's, Hitachi's. We had Magnavox, RCA televisions, Admiral TVs, Panasonic's. Then all the house brands that came out. Yeah. When the Sony designed those black and gray Trinitron televisions, it looked like some device on a spaceship. No wood, not even a fake wood top surface. My family had one. Yeah, that's right. Oh, the days when you only had 4 channels: ABC, NBC, Fox. No, you didn't have Fox. WCIA. Let's see. You had the toy games, Yoko's, Yo-Yo's too. You had ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS. Or you had a local independent station that would come in. We had CHCH television out of Hamilton. I know I've heard stories about Martin Short when he grew up in Hamilton. He would have had the 3 big stations in Toronto. He would have had CTV, CBC, CHCH TV out of Hamilton. He would have had ABC, CBS, and NBC out of Hamilton. WKBW, I remember that network that's television station from Buffalo, Ontario, New York. Remember those days? Oh man, oh man. Thank you for all your patience throughout these markets. I know you have a lot going on, and just wanted to say your channel has helped me so much. I'm not going anywhere. Dustin, thank you for your kind words. I do appreciate it. Don't forget the UHF channels. Oh man. I'm a girl in the 70s in school. I used to hide in my closet at lunchtime, and when in the house emptied out, I would watch Spider-Man on TV. CBS, we had Fox 55/27. Oh my gosh. I wasn't around yet when Dumont had a television network in the United States, but Dumont was only in major markets way back when. I love the history of television. I love reading about the history of television in the United States, broadcast television, how it evolved from the big metropolitan centers and slowly came out. And then they had a cable that ran across America all the way to Los Angeles for the California market, where the middle of America a lot of America didn't have television at all, just none of it. My first TV in my room was a Montgomery Ward branded television. Montgomery Ward. I remember the Sears brands television. I remember when we got a local Fox station, it was like the devil came to town because we had Married with Children and The Simpsons on it. Oh no, they said damn, hell, and crap. Such filth. Hi, everybody. Hi, Liz. Larry, I'm not sure if they were national or only in the D.C. area. Now we all hear moon landings, conspiracies, laughing out loud. Oh, yeah, all that crap. Yeah, way back when. Man, oh man, those were times. In Canada, we had our TV stations because the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, was a government-owned national provider that was independently run and operated. The politicians did not run it. It was run by an independently crown corporation that ran CBC, and it became a national priority for Canadians coast to coast to be able to have television. And so every small town in Canada had a CBC affiliate, and they had those transmission towers and cables, and Canada eventually had national television by the 50s. By the mid-50s, Canada had coast-to-coast TV, and on Sunday nights, Ed Sullivan was on CBC television, coast-to-coast Canada, under license from, I believe, CBS, way back when. So when Hockey Night in Canada came on, every Canadian could watch a hockey game on Saturday night, unless you were in the middle of like really nowhere. Then you, of course, you could. But Canadians could catch television coast to coast from Toronto or Montreal. You would watch a national hockey game Saturday nights. And then we got CTV, the Canadian Television Network, which was a privately run broadcaster. They went national eventually, and somehow they had affiliate stations at all the same cities that more or less CBC had affiliates. And so we had two national broadcasters, one government-owned, one privately owned. And the one station had Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday night. The other station had Hockey Night Wednesday nights from Toronto. The Toronto Maple Leafs usually had Wednesday night home games and Saturday night home games, and they would have road games on the other days. Amazing. Amazing. Larry at Montgomery Ward, Ohio, waited for their print catalog every fall. The top dial had to be on channel 2. The bottom knob went to like 80, but you only got 4 local channels. Curtis Math is still around. They do LED lighting. Isn't that something? And I got my Atari from TG&Y. Remember Zaire? My dad's friend was a manager at a Montgomery Ward. He'd just buy the stuff at employee discount and sell it to my dad at the employee discount price. It was like 10-15% off. Got a Sega Genesis that way. Oh man, what a connection! Larry at Montgomery Ward. That's only DC area. At Monkey Ward, never thought I'd see Sears pretty much fold as well. Yeah, Montgomery Ward. We had Eaton stores across Canada, Sears stores across Canada, and my wife Jennifer, when I met her, when we were going out, she had an Eaton's card. She had an Eaton's credit card, and I got one like a year or two later. I got an Eaton's credit card. We could buy stuff at Eaton's, including televisions and VCRs and beds and furniture, and oh my gosh, yeah. The old Eaton's credit card, you had to be careful because the interest rate on that thing was like 24% or something like that. I found my first computer at Zayre's, bought my first computer at Zayre's, right on, bought your first computer. Oh man, Eaton's was the place you went. Downtown Calgary, 4-story department store, 4 stories. Everything you could want, from appliances for your kitchen, washers and dryers, electronics, clothing, jewelry. The travel department at Eaton's. You'd buy a ticket to Toronto on an airplane through Eaton's Travel. You just do it through Eaton's Travel. Convenient, then I'll just charge it to my account, please. Yeah, and you would get a letter in the mail saying, thank you for your loyalty to our store. We've just increased your credit limit from $300 to $500. $200 of extra spending money at Eaton's? Oh, wow, we could buy all the Christmas presents this year at Eaton's. At 24% interest, 22% interest if you carried a balance. Oh, man. Somebody was showing us, we're showing our years. I remember when Radio Shack actually sold electronic parts, and then it declined into a glorified cell phone store. They got wiped out, man. They got annihilated. There were no margins in the electronics, really. Not good margins, eventually. Very little margins. Oh, my gosh, yes. The department store credit cards. And then we got our first credit cards through MasterCard and Visa. And we would just get as many cards as we could get because, this is great. This is so cool. Everyone else was into Super Nintendo, but I was a Sega man. Sega. Oh man, I was too late for that. I was born too late to get into that, and yeah, gosh, I remember the old days. My gosh, the early credit of the '70s and the '80s, and then in Calgary, if you wanted to buy a computer, you would go to mom and pop computer shops, and some of these were like superstores. Like you'd have 5,000 square foot mom and pop computer shops would pop up out of nowhere, and they would have an incredible selection of brand name merchandise, and then they would bring in the no name brands that would come into the mid '80s, late '80s. It wasn't until the late '80s that Future Shop showed up in Canada as became a national house, and then eventually Best Buy showed up, and then Future Shop bought Best Buy, or Best Buy bought Future Shop, one or the other way around. And that knocked out all the department stores, because department stores used to have the computers, and they got knocked out by the superstores, the super computer shops. Oh my gosh, the changes that happened. Oh yes. AB Radio Shack logo. You got questions, we got answers. As they aged, they were run by teenagers. I changed it to you got questions, we got blank stares. I still have my original Nintendo Entertainment System. I had an old 486 with Oregon Trail. That's where Carmen San Diego. I had a buddy of mine. I got to know a guy we became friends about 1985, and he was a hardworking guy. He just had the touch of an entrepreneur. This guy was like myself. He and I ran retail stores over the years, but this guy was an employee of a Radio Shack in Edmonton, Alberta, and he was started with no knowledge whatsoever and just got hired in there, and he eventually became the manager of the guy's store, of the franchisee store, and learned how to run a successful Radio Shack franchise. And he was talking to Radio Shack area manager, and found out there was a store in Edmonton, the worst performing Radio Shack in Edmonton, and the corporation was trying to get rid of the owner because he was running it into the ground. And I guess the owner wanted out. In any event, this young guy somehow scraped together 10 grand or something along those lines, not a lot of money, and he bought this franchise. The worst performing Radio Shack in Edmonton, Alberta. There were probably 8 of them at the time, and it was the worst. Probably in a lousy neighborhood too. And he told me the story about how when he took it over, it was a basket case. This store was a disaster, and he came in there and he straightened it out, because he employed all the techniques at the high performing store he came from, that he was a manager of. He ran this store, and he and his wife were in there running it. They had no employees. It was just the two of them running it 7 days a week. And he turned this place into a moneymaker, and he got rid of all the bad habits and changed everything out. And it became one of the top 2 producing Radio Shacks in Western Canada. Like, it became a huge success because this guy knew what he was doing. And he sold it. He ended up selling it to another franchise owner for a big profit. And he moved to Calgary, and 180 miles south to where we were in Calgary, and he ended up buying into a brand new franchise. He had been reading up on brand new franchise was coming out. Japan Camera 1 Hour Camera Centers. Japan 1 Hour Camera Centers. He bought 2 franchises, one for Market Mall in Calgary, and one for Chinook Center in Calgary. He bought the 2 locations in the 2 top shopping malls in Calgary, the number 1 and the number 2 shopping mall. And he started off with this Japan Camera 1 hour photo developing with this machine. This machine you put the film in on one end and the pictures would come out the other. Oh, was he a busy man. He had in Canada the number 2 and the number 4 franchises in all of Canada for gross business. The number 1, the number 2, number 4. Number 1 and number 3 were in Toronto. The biggest city in Canada had the biggest ones. He had number 2 and number 4. And he made a fortune. He made an absolute fortune doing this business, doing this work. And he sold his 2 franchises at the height of the 1 hour processing business just a year before the beginning of the end of the 1 hour photo developing business. He got out at the height of the market and cashed in. He sold one franchise to one guy, one franchise to another guy, and walked away with, I think he walked away with net $500,000 in 1986, 85. When I got to know him in 85, he sold out. And he had started as a Radio Shack guy in the 70s and flipped in and got into this in like 1979, 80. And with 5-6 years, he sold out. And he had bought his house for cash in a nice neighborhood in town. He bought a brand new RV, took his kids out of school, traveled in North America for a year with his children. And they just saw everything, because for 8-10 years, all he did was work 7 days a week, 7 days work with him and his wife. And now he had 2 kids. They took off, and they loved it. And then he bought a condo, a brand new condominium in Tempe, Arizona, Phoenix. And it was 1986, and he invited myself and a number of my buddies to come on down to the condo for a week. We're going to golf. This was like November of 86. We're going to go golfing for a whole week. The golf courses are all frozen out in Canada by that time. And I thought this would be fabulous. So I took a week off work. I convinced a good buddy of mine to do the same, another buddy of mine to do the same. And there were a bunch of his friends, and we all got together, and there were, 5 or 6, 7 of us. And we golfed at golf courses all over the Phoenix area for a week. And every morning we were in a hot tub at about 7 a.m. and we're in the hot tub with our coffee, having a cup of coffee, getting loosened up, because we were not used to golfing every day. Not that we were old. We were still in our 30s, but this was a wonderful thing. And I am sitting in a hot tub in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm looking up at this blue sky, no rain, sunny every day, playing golf at these beautiful golf courses in November, which is low season for Phoenix still. And I'm sitting beside a good buddy of mine who's a golf buddy of mine, and I'm saying, Carl, why aren't we doing something down here? We're 2 smart guys. You're a lawyer. I'm an entrepreneur. Why can't we figure out a way to spend time down here? I mean, why can't we figure out something to be down here for 6 months of the year? We're in our early 30s. Isn't there a way we could be down here for 6 months of the year, and then we can be home for the summer months of the year? Isn't there? There's got to be a way. He said, Bruce, you come up with something, I'm in. You come up with anything, I'm in. And I came up with something. And let me show you what I came up with. It's very few of you here, but you're looking at history right here. We created this. My buddy and I created this booklet right here. Here's the McCormick Ranch Golf Club, the Palm and Pine Courses yardage guide that we made. We designed this. And what is it? It's a booklet that shows you everything about the golf course. And you would put this on your your steering wheel of your golf cart. And here's your first hole right here, hole number 1. And we had these illustrations drawn up, and we put these yardages in. These are yardage guides. And we had a blow up of the green right here. And we had the professional write a tip on how to play the hole, what club to use off the thing. And we did a description of the golf course property and all the amenities they had at the golf course, and then all the golf holes. And you would be given one of these. You'd pay your fee to play the round of golf. And in the middle of the booklet, which this one doesn't have it, but the original booklet, here we have the entire property showing here with all the golf holes. But in the middle of this, we'd have a scorecard. We'd have a scorecard in here made of different kind of paper, a sort of a cardboard paper that will hold a pencil mark. So this would be your scorecard, and then you would just refer to this for the golf hole. You figure out, we're on the 7th hole here. Here's hole number 7 right here. Where am I? Right here. Yeah, here we go. Off the tee. Got to watch the water. Got to watch the water. You got to land right there, and that's out a certain distance. And then from there, you have to come on into the middle of the green right up here. So we produced these yardage guides. And we came up with this. This took 2 years to figure out. We needed to design it, prototype it, show it off to potential golf courses in California, Arizona, Florida, other states. And then we had to produce some. on spec, and then we had to figure out a way to fill the book with perhaps advertising or something, because we wanted to sell ads on the back cover and in the on the back cover here, on the inside back cover, on the inside front cover. We wanted to put ads as well uh, to help pay for it. We wanted this to be a little magazine, and we figured if we could get 20 or 30 golf courses to hand out 40,000 of these a year, which would be a typical year, that would have 1.2 million circulation, annual circulation to golfers. I mean, these are given to golfers. These guys are on the golf course, these guys and girls. And that's what we created. We created this business that we would force us to go south in the wintertime to meet with these golf marketing people and to measure out the golf courses. My buddy Carl and I would measure out the golf course. I mean, hey, why should we hire somebody when we can do it? And so we'd be down south for 2 weeks at a time. We'd take our wives with us for 2 weeks at a time. And the thinking was we would build a business for producing these yardage guides, and that's what we came up with. And we eventually took a company public. Profile Capital Corporation went public, which owned Profile Publishing, that made these little booklets. And that's what we were going to do. This is 1987, 88, 89, 90. Those years we were doing that, and we gave it a shot. But that all started from a hot tub in Tempe, Arizona, because a bunch of guys went golfing for a week at this guy's place that had Japan Camera Centers, that once owned a Radio Shack, and someone mentioned the word Radio Shack, triggered all the memories. And that's how it all came together. What can I say? Those were interesting times. What can I tell you? Anyway, there you go. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Way back when. I just Googled Radio Shack. There are more currently still in existence than I expected. Hang on, I have to go get off my lawn at some kids. I have to yell at my lawn. Bruce, do you offer one-on-one meetings on how not to suck at buying stocks? Asking for a friend. Yes, I offer one-on-ones. I had a 46 DX2 66 with a whole mega video RAM. I was the envy of all the 386ers. I was pretty sure that Radio Shack in my hometown was a front for selling drugs or something. It was open for years. The only people I knew who bought something, I just got batteries. Radio Shack and their TR-80s, called them trash 80s. I knew people who were told back then to buy a computer, and they just bought like a dumb terminal and did word processing. So all it did was really computer. Our first machine as a kid was a 486. Oops, TRS 80s. Should have gotten a T1. More like late 80s, early 90s. Modern decoration actually was being used. I used to work at a 1 hour photo. You wouldn't believe the perverted pictures that people would develop without knowing the technician had to look at each image for quality. Oh, I remember the TIs, a little flat keyboard, all-inclusive computer, no Windows operating system that could run a business. Do I or don't I email the first cousin that 23andMe report claims? I can't decide. Writing programs in BASIC was fun as a kid. Who are the 20-somethings that have been completely lost in the conversation since the bell rang? Yeah, I was. How many have you got left? Be prepared for a possible wild ride. Let's see. If we didn't go through all that crap, yeah, you wouldn't have it today either. Can't answer a phone right now. Sorry, folks. Can't answer a phone. Yeah, way back when. It's funny how things work out. It's a good story. My elementary, junior high school used Apple computers, and the color version from like 79 until 95. They got Windows 95 NT. Oh, man. Thanks for showing those yardage guys. What a treat. Found one in a box. It's the only one I got left. We made millions of them. I got one left. Totally serious. Hot Top Time Machine was a good movie. Yeah. That was the computer lab in my school had a plaque outside donated by Apple Computers, Cupertino, California. Yeah, way back when. Oh, my God. Yep, that buddy of mine who sold his Japan Camera Centers, he got into another business a couple of years later for only a year or so, how to help people quit smoking. And they were selling these ear things that they looked like earrings, but they weren't. They They were like acupuncture things that you left in your ear. Whenever you got the need, the urge to smoke a cigarette, you just pinched your earlobe and it would take the urge away. And he sold a bunch of these. I couldn't believe it. He had this knack for finding unique businesses. Really interesting guy. I don't know whatever it became of the gentleman. I don't know where he is now. I can't remember his name either. Can't remember his name anymore. That's funny. Yep, we got bonus Bruce time today. I think I'm going to pack this in though. I gotta stop. I gotta pack. What happened to the golf guide company you sold after you sold it, Bruce? Oh, the golf guide company. Well, we ran it for about 3-4 years. We got up to about 10 or 11 golf courses. And what happened then was we used to go to the National Golf Show, the PGA Golf Show, showing this thing off, and the Regional West Coast Golf Show. And one day I phoned the publisher, the head guy at Golf Magazine, who was working for Time Incorporated. Golf Magazine was owned by Time at the time in New York. And I cold called him. And I got through to him because I told his secretary my name and what company I was with. He took the call. And he said, Bruce, he says, I can't remember his name. His name is Jack. Let's just say his name is Jack. He said, call me Jack. So I called him Jack. He called me Bruce. We immediately were on a first name basis. He says, I just want to tell you, thank you for calling. I just want to tell you, you make the best yardage guide in the golf business. I've been watching you guys. You guys are out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada? Yeah. You make the best yardage guide in the business. How can I work with you? I said, I have an idea. We should partner up. He said, what do you have in mind? I said, I should produce, my partner and I will produce the yardage guide. We'll go to the golf courses. We'll measure them out. We'll take care of all of their photos and all of their promotions, and we'll do the scorecard. You sell advertising in the guide. You sell the back cover, the inside back cover, the inside front cover. We'll have like 12 pages of advertising in this 40-page guide, and we'll split the ad revenues. We make the guide, you do the ads, and we'll work a deal together. And he went, I like it. When can you come down here? In other words, when can you come to New York City? And I'm thinking in a New York minute, I can come down to New York City. So Carl and I were down there within a week. We were down there and we met him and his team. And it's the two of us and 20 of them in this gigantic boardroom at Time Incorporated. And this little company called Profile Publishing, which was a publicly traded company, Profile Capital Corp. We're trading on the Alberta Stock Exchange. We went down to New York and met these guys to cut a deal to license our yardage guide, our profile yardage guide, profile custom course guide right there, to license this to Golf Magazine, make this the Golf Magazine yardage guide for all of these golf courses. And the golf courses that were going to get the yardage guide were the top 100 golf resorts as ranked by Golf Magazine. And how did Golf Magazine rank the top 100 yardage, top 100 resort clubs in North America? Why, the ones who advertise the most. Because if you open up a Golf Magazine back in the 80s, there were all kinds of golf resorts advertising their brand new beautiful golf resort to get golfers to come on down. Because they knew that if you could advertise in Golf Magazine, golfers were reading the magazine. So, of course, you'd promote yourself to golfers and show the villas you could rent and the hot tubs you could use and the tennis courts they had and the phenomenal golf courses they had. And these were in Hawaii and Colorado and California and Texas and Arizona and Florida and the Carolinas and everywhere. And we were going to do yardage guides for 100 golf courses in partnership with Golf Magazine, and they would sell the ads. They would have no trouble. The back cover, I can guarantee you, the back cover would not be a picture of a guy standing on a tee box looking down right. No, this would have been a Titleist ad. This page right here, the inside back cover, this would be Wilson. This inside cover right here would be Pro Staff right here. Ping would have an ad in here Nike would have an ad. Yamaha would have an ad. All the golf equipment manufacturers would be in here because the golf magazine was telling us what we'll do is we'll do a package deal. We'll do your guide comes out once a year. So we'll do a package deal. You guys come out with your guides on a rotating basis, and we will put in the ads on a rotating basis, and we'll make a deal with Wilson and Pro Staff so that they get the back cover when they buy the back cover of our magazine, which is 2 million circulation, they get another 4 million circulation from your Yardage guide on top of that. We'll have a package deal and we'll work a split with you guys. So for my buddy and I, we were going to get advertising on 15, 16 pages, and we were going to bring in millions of dollars of revenue from this guide. And the golf courses could get these guides for like 25 cents a copy. They only pay us a quarter to get it, and they'd want to get it because Golf Magazine was the sponsor. Because the deal was that when they advertised in Golf Magazine to be one of the top 100 ranked golf courses, that qualified them to get the Yardage guide. It was a closed shop. It was all set up. It was a beautiful deal. And we negotiated this thing over a couple of months, and Jack and I got along famously. We nailed this thing down to a T. We had this thing locked up. Then one little thing happened, just one little tiny event that changed everything. The first little event that took place was this guy named Saddam Hussein decided to invade Kuwait. He decided to invade Kuwait. And the Americans were not very happy with that. Neither was the rest of the world. And the warnings went out, hey, don't get out of there. And he wouldn't get out of there. And he said, if you guys even think of attacking us, the entire Arab world will come to our defense, and there will be suicide bombers on every airplane in the world at the same time, and you won't be able to stop us. That little one-liner from Saddam Hussein and his buddies stopped worldwide travel almost in its tracks for a couple of weeks, and it caused a ripple effect for the winter coming up for our launch of these Yardage guides. It was exactly at the same time it delayed our launch because all of our golf courses found out that all of their reservations got canceled because 80% of all of their business came from tourists who would fly to these exotic locations in Hawaii and Arizona and California and forth to go golfing, to hang out. And all of a sudden, the entire tourism business in the United States stopped dead in its tracks. And the second thing that happened as a result of the first thing was that these golf resorts that were all many of them were brand new. They were all in the last 2-3 years built out, and many more were under construction. Many of them were financed by the savings and loans banking system in the United States, which had been allowed in the previous 4 or 5 years to be allowed to finance real estate developments. They had been previously barred from doing that. They were all small savings and loan trust banks for little communities only. Now these guys could get into the development business, and they were backed by the financial banking system of the United States to explode. Well, they exploded with all kinds of deals. The problem was that many of these resorts were funded and financed to be built out to the tune of $100 million each or $200 million each, when in reality, as soon as this Gulf War thing broke out, which took quite a while, their value was less than half of what they owed. And all of a sudden we found that 80 of our 100 properties were bankrupt. They were insolvent. They were upside down on their financing. And they didn't want Yardage guides to be handed out at the cost of 25 cents a piece. And they weren't able to advertise in Golf Magazine anymore because they had no money to advertise. They were now being run by receivers, and the receiver would come in and take over this property to get rid of it. But while running it, they had a golf course running because they kept the water on. We don't want to shut the water off because that'll kill the golf course. They would photocopy a scorecard and hand people photocopied scorecards for their scorecards, because you could golf now for $20 a round instead of $80 a round because the receiver was just running it to keep it open. And if the golf course ran at all, and we found that 80% of our clients just went just disappeared. Just they were Golf Magazine's clients, our clients. Titleist cut their ad budget by 80%. Pro Staff cut their budget. Yamaha cut their budget. Nike cut their budget. Everyone stopped. Everything stopped. It was over. Like a light, the light switch went like that. It was over. And my buddy and I are sitting in Calgary going, oh my God, we have no business. Our business just disappeared. Our client in New York didn't go out of business. We didn't go out of business, but we have no one to sell to. And we had to end our partnership before it even got started. It got all blown up just like that. And that was the end of it. And that's how we stopped producing these guides, because our customers disappeared. To this day, there are golf courses still in existence that we made yardage guides for, including one in Palm Desert, California, called the Monterey Golf and Country Club. Monterey Resort. The Monterey Country Club had 27 holes, and they were building condos all around it. And for the first 5 years of their existence, they were open to the public, and they were buying our yardage guide. And we were using them as a tool to produce yardage guides, to show off our work to other golf courses and to people like Golf Magazine, to make it something of ourselves. And the irony of it all, the incredible irony of it all, was in we were down there in 1987 producing their yardage guide for a couple of years, from 87, 88, 89. And in the year 2000, Jennifer and myself and our daughter rented a condo on the Monterey Golf and Country Club, and we were living there for 6 years. So I was living on the actual golf course that I measured when it opened up back in the 10 years earlier. I didn't have a yardage guide with me, though, at the time, because I had none left. But the irony of ironies, I was living on the golf course that we measured when they were building the condos that were now occupied. By the time we got there, it was all built out, and there were no yardage guides anymore, and there was no public play allowed. Only members only, because it's surrounded by 1,500 condos. Oh man, how things change and evolve. It's just incredible. Anyway, so folks, thank you so much for being here today. Love you all here. Nice to have you here for a story time with Uncle Bruce. Those were the days, and those were the days. But you know, you when you're 65, you've got stories, and you've been around a while. So, you know, what can I say? There had to have been a but, right? Yes, Nancy PC, there's a but. It all blew up. We were hoping that this deal would take our stock to $10 a share. And Jennifer and I, we owned 1.5 million shares of Profile Capital Corporation. We were hoping that the stock would go to 10, and we would be worth $15 million. That was in 1990. We would be worth $15 million. When you could buy a really nice house in Calgary for $500,000. I mean, a McMansion kind of house for $500,000. We would have been worth $15 million, but stock went down to a penny. And unfortunately, we had to sell the company off to somebody else to survive it, but we did, and there it was. You're a good storyteller. Oh, thank you so much. It's what I do for a living. I tell stories. Yeah, those were the days. Man, oh man, we were under the gun then, because we had all these shareholders that were believing in us, and we had no business. Now what? Oh my God. The good news, oil went up in price. Oil went crazy. We sold our public company to an oil and gas group. Along with our shareholders, they became part of an oil and gas company. We took the publishing company out and just left it private and just died it off, killed it off. Unbelievable. Thanks for the extra story time. You guys are welcome. Have a great night, everybody. More of this, Bruce, more. I'll do what I can. I got to pack it in. Jen and I got some packing to do. So leave it to us. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:30 for our Wednesday show, our second last show from Creston before we become nomads. We're only on tomorrow and Thursday. We're off Friday. We're driving. And so just 2 more days from here, and then Calgary next week. So join me tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern. Thank you for your loyal support and following today. I love you guys. Have a great night. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.